Afternoon, Cherries fans. Welcome to this latest show here on Up the Cherries in all departments. Now, unless you've been living under a rock for the past couple of days, you will know on Monday that Bill Foley decided to dispose of the services of Gary O'Neill. At first, we were shocked. However, Bill Foley then appointed at 3 o'clock the same day Andoni Iraola, of course, a former Athletic Bilbao and New York City player. Also, he was the manager of AEK Larnaca, who got them into the Europa League. He was also the manager of Mirandés, managed to get them, a second division side, into the Copa del Rey semi-finals. And of course, the Rayo Vallecano manager, who managed to get the club from the second division into La Liga with the smallest budget, with victories over Barcelona and Real Madrid. It looks like it's going to be exciting times. Of course, what I wanted to do on this show was find out a little bit more about him and what he's done in football. And what better way to do that than speak to somebody who knows Rayo Vallecano inside out? Somebody who actually works for a radio station that was part of the club for a period of time and is now independent. Union Real. It is a pleasure to welcome onto Up the Cherries in all departments, live from Madrid, Mario González. Good afternoon, Mario. How are you doing?
Good afternoon. Very good to stay here.
And thank you so much for coming on and joining us. So, of course, you are one of the presenters at Union Rayo. Do tell us a little bit more about the station.
Okay. In the past, we are the official radio about Rayo Vallecano, but right now we are independent and we create the notice and some the matches independent of the club.
Excellent stuff. So, you have got all the insider information, really, haven't you?
Yes, we have information about the first team, also the girls teams, the youngest teams, about more of the team of Rayo.
Excellent stuff. Well, of course, as everybody knows, Gary O'Neill was sacked at 12:30 the other day, and of course, Andoni Iraola was appointed at 3 o'clock. An exciting appointment. Of course, Leeds United were in for Iraola as well. They were quite interested back last season. But let's start off with his career. What sort of player was Iraola for Athletic Bilbao?
Okay, Iraola in the past have the material of Athletic Club de Bilbao, and it's a player of the club. He loved a lot Athletic Club. Then in the finale of his career, he go to New York City, and he's a player that he's offensive, lateral offensive, but he defends a lot. And I think that this part of this style, when he was a coach, he put in his lateral. He liked lateral to defense also, but also laterals that they are very fast, that attack a lot. And I think that this is the aspect about his game that put when he's a coach.
I don't know if you're aware, Mario. We were actually in during the World Cup last season for Marcelo Bielsa. And of course, Iriola actually played under Marcelo Bielsa at Atletico Bilbao. Do you see a lot of Bielsa's style in Iriola's game?
Oof, it's a very good question. I think yes. I think that they are aspects that Iraola put it in his different teams. I think that also, obviously, it's a style recognized of Iraola, but I think that he put part of Bielsa or part of another different manager that he put in the past. But also, I think that Iraola is a brave coach, And I think
Mhm.
that this is an important aspect that Iraola, for example, if come Real Madrid to Vallecas, Iraola not defense. Iraola attack a lot, but with control. He's a brave, but with a lot of control.
I've had a little look as well of the way he played at Rayo Vallecano, and a lot of it seems to be the high press. So when a team is effectively in their own half, he will get players to actually attack and put a lot of emphasis. So they have to pass out from the back. Did you see that a lot? And is that the general style that he'll go for, like a high press?
Yes, I think that there is one of the more important aspects, the
Mhm.
pressure in Andoni Iraola. I think that the highest pressure is necessary about his style because he not have a lot of possession in only the 10, for example, in the Spanish league that have the possession more or less.
Yeah.
But the pressure is one of the most of them and is near to Barcelona, for example. I think that Barcelona is the first one and Rayo Vallecano is the second, something like that. And I think that this is a recognized style and he needs, for example, Álvaro García, that is a fastest player. And with Oscar Valentin, you can at defensive, and then with Alvaro Garcia, you can pass in the band, and this is the style of Iraola.
And when the ball, again, not in possession, in the middle of the park, it seems that he does employ a mid to low block as well. Is that fair to say that?
Yes, I think that he combined the possession with the fastest players. I think that he knows what have to do in the time of the match. For example, Real Madrid come to Vallecas. He knows that in some aspect of the match you have to defend, and you have to defend a lot with Real Madrid. But in one part of the match, you have to associate in the modifier. You have to take the position, something like that.
Iraola did start his career at AEK Larnaca in the Cypriot League, and he wasn't there a long period of time. Um, can you give us a bit of emphasis on what happened at Larnaca?
The aspect that I know then is because he classified to the Europa League.
Yeah.
He go to the Europa League, but then the results are not good, and the president of AEK say to go fire to Iraola, and this is I think that this is the black point in the career of Iraola because in Mirandés very good, in Rayo Vallecano very good, but I think that this is black point that Iraola say is not as good that I know.
I don't know much about the Cypriot League, I'll be perfectly honest with you, but um, I think, how he actually got them into the Europa League in the first place and the amount of qualifying that he would have had to go through there to get them into that stage. When Miranda's actually took him on, do you feel that that was probably something that they looked at?
Yes, we know in Vallecas that Iraola have got a good pass in Mirandés. He's one of the best players in the second division, but he's a very young player. He only passed to AEK and to Mirandés. And Rayo Vallecano is another highest part of his career, and he have to promote to the first division. And it's not it's a very good objective about Iraola because in the another season with Paco Gémez, we don't classify to the playoff. And we need first to go to the playoff and then promote to the first division, and it's not easy. And Iraola demonstrate to us that that is a very good coach, but he passed. I don't know if you know when 4 matches more or less to go to the playoff, the president say to go fire Iraola because of the results, because the Rayo Vallecano is not in the playoff. Only have forced 5 matches to finish the league, and Rayo Vallecano is not in the playoff. But Iraola won 4 of these 5 matches, go to the playoff, and then promote to first division. But we have a critic moment about Iraola to the president. Say if we don't know if we don't go to the playoff, Iraola is fired.
Before he actually joined Vallecano, what did what changes did you see in the sort of style from the previous manager?
A lot of them. I think that with Paco Gémez is also a brave manager, but
Mm.
he's a brave manager that concede 6 goals, 7 goals, and it's not good. For example, in with Real Madrid, you can it's a good match. Six Real Madrid, two Rayo Vallecano, and it's not good. You have to attack. You have to be a brave manager, but with control. And Iraola put this control. Iraola like to attack, but with a good defense back.
When you were promoted to La Liga, did anything change, or did he go with the same philosophy that got Vallecano promoted into the top flight?
Is a very good change to the second division to the first division because
Mhm.
in the first division you have to change the styles is obviously, but Iraola not change a lot. Iraola put the same styles, and I think that the style of Iraola is better for the first division than in the second division because in the second divisions they are a lot of for example, Burgos or something like that, that defends a lot. And this
Mhm.
game is to defense. And in the first division, not. Not the team's defense, the team's attack. And for Iraola, is better to the style. And is the one of the most youngest coach in the first division.
And of course, in the first season in the top flight again, he took Vallecano to the Copa del Rey semi-finals. What was that like?
Is historic for Rayo Vallecano. In the past, we have another semifinals of Copa del Rey, and this is the
Yeah.
second one. It's historic, and in the end of the first season in the first division, Rayo Vallecano end in the Champions League.
Mhm.
But then in the second time of the season, go up, go to the 10 position, something like that. But in Christmas, Rayo Vallecano is in Champions League, and this is the historic for them, and it's one of the most first time of the season that we have ever been.
There is this theory in Spain that there is three clubs which are very difficult to get past, which of course are Barcelona, Real Madrid, and Atletico Madrid. But you did beat both Barcelona three times, in fact, during Iraola's time in the La Liga, but also Real Madrid as well. What were those victories like?
Are espectacular, espectacular. I have not worked to describe what are their victories. Uh, uh, Also in Vallecas. I think that in Vallecas is a place that is not it's not easy to win. And I think that in Bournemouth, Iraola say that in house we have to create the style, and then when we go to different stadiums, we have to compete, and this is the more speciality of Andoni Iraola. Compete with all the teams, with Barcelona, with Real Madrid, we compete with all of them. And you can win to Real Madrid, okay, but you have to compete. First, compete. Then, if you win, very good. But then compete and Iraola compete with all the teams.
Of course, you did mention there, of course, with the pressure that he was under at the very start at Vallecano. And everything's changed a little bit at Bournemouth because, of course, we had Eddie Howe in charge of the club for a long, long period of time, managed to even get us to this position from League Two, the very, very bottom of the English pyramid. But Eddie Howe managed to get us right up into the Premier League, and we stuck by a manager for a long period of time. But since the takeover, Bill Foley, of course, has been quite ruthless in getting rid of Gary O'Neill. And there's probably going to be a lot of pressure on from the start. It sounds like Areola does deal with pressure fine, but you know, just going back to that promotion season, how did he cope? Did he seem unfazed by it?
Okay. I think that this is a radical changes of the style of Bournemouth. The time that I see Bournemouth is another style, and I think that Iraola have to adapt to the league first,
Yeah.
to the Premier League, because he don't know about the manager or about the player. He don't pass to this league. He like to adapt, and then adapt to the Bournemouth. And I think that it's a good coach because he demonstrate in Rayo Vallecano, but he like to adapt and then adapt the style to the league, and I think that he can do it, but he can pass maybe 2 months, 3 months, something like that. But then, for example, Solanke, I think that this is a football player that he can adapt very good to the style of Andoni Iraola, because Andoni Iraola like attack that also scores goals, but also combine, associate with another player, go to the pressure, something like that. And I think, for example, Solanke can be good for the style.
With regards to signings coming in, do you feel that because how it seems to work at Bournemouth at the moment is Richard Hughes has quite a large say in who players that we bring in, and a lot of the players that we have bought in during the January window look like they are quite suited to Iriola's style. But how much of a say will Iriola want on the players that do come through the door?
For example, bueno, he like players that adapt to his style. This is obviously.
Mhm.
For example, the lateral that I say lateral to defense a lot, but also to go to attack. That they are very very fast. Then in the midfielder, he likes three types of midfielder. One more defensive to steal all the balls. Then another one like a box to box,
Yeah.
and another like a 10. Oscar Trejo, for example, is the 10 of Rayo Vallecano. Then in the band, also a band very very fast. For example, Easy Palazón, I think that is a exception of the style of Rayo Vallecano, because Easy Palazón is not a very fast player. He like to go to the center to associate something like that, and I think that this is an exception. And for example, in the Bournemouth, he can know some exception that he say it's good for my style, but he like band very fast. And then in the center of the attack, he like something like Solanke, something like that not also scores a lot, that also associate.
One of the weaknesses last season has to be our defence. And I think that's probably something that he'll have to work on quite quickly. Um, how well or how well did Vallecano actually defend last season?
Andoni Iraola say a lot of times that the defense is a very important aspect because if you not concede goals, you have 1 point, and then if you scores, you have 3 points. And it is a very important aspect of Andoni Iraola, but in a lot of matches, Rayo Vallecano concede goals in errors. In errors of the defense, they concede goals, and Iraola go to the journalist and say that it's not good to concede this type of goals. But he have a offensive skills, but he not disquite the defense.
How worried are Vallecano fans of Iraola coming back in for some players that have served him well previously?
When Andoni Iraola go out to Rayo Vallecano, we say that no, because it's the next year is the century of the
Mhm.
club, and we like to stay with Andoni Iraola, but we comprehend Andoni because three 3 seasons, 3 different seasons, he of the objectives that Andoni Iraola proposed, they are good. They say yes, and is finished in the top. And if he continuate 1 season more, he can go, and it's not a very good love to Andoni Iraola, but he say a lot of the time that he like to prove in the Premier League, and then
Mhm.
is in the Premier League, and he can. We alegrate a lot if he have a good season the next year.
Of course, Santi Kamasana is somebody who has been mentioned and been linked in numerous rumours since this. Do you think there's much truth in that?
Yes, I think that Santi is one of the players that we love a lot because he came to Rayo Vallecano when he's young, and now is adult, and we love a lot. I think that Santi go to Villarreal. I think that this is the destiny of Santi Comesaña. But this is an important football player in the style of Andoni Iraola because he's the box to box that I mentioned. And this is important because he attack, he defends, and is not valorate a lot that he represents to the style of Iraola.
How exciting is Iraola's football? Or what can we expect to see next season?
He's very excited to the football, but he say in all the interviews that he not have a long career like a coach. He prefer, for example, 10 years in a good level, that not 20 years in good, bad, something like that.
Mhm.
He prefer a short career, but very good, and she is very excited about the football. He prepared a lot, all the matches, and he also, if you for example, go to have a match with Manchester City. He prepared the Manchester City, but also with the styles of Bournemouth. He prefers to put the styles and not to the type of the Manchester City or something like that. He valorate also the style of the club.
A lot of football clubs in the Premier League have gone down this route. And one very, very good example is Roberto De Zerbi, who is at Brighton. Um, could we have the next Roberto De Zerbi on our hands here?
I think yes, but with some different aspects. Iraola is not Roberto De Servi. Is they have aspects in common. For example, the I think the young, no, something like that. They are youngest. They are ambitious also, but it's different style. I think that De Servi is much possession, and Iraola is not also a lot of possession, but he is more brave, more attractive, more faster, something like that. And I think that you have a very good coach, a very good coach, and a lot of and I think also that Iraola know a lot the steps in his career. If he go to Bournemouth, it's for something. It's because it's the next step of his career to improve he and to improve the club. And I think that this is very important. He not go to one club and to go holiday. He go to one club to improve them and to put his style then.
He has had to work under quite a budget, hasn't he, at Vallecano? You do have the smallest budget in La Liga, but he's managed to get you to two top half finishes, top 12 finishes, I should say. But he might have a little bit more money to spend than we actually expected at Bournemouth. Take it back 12 months, probably would have said, okay, we would have been on one of the smallest budgets in the Premier League coming into this season, but he's going to have money to spend. With regards to working with that small budget and that constraints, how did he do it?
It's very difficult, very difficult because we don't have a lot of money, and also I think with players that have in the first season, I think that is a cycle. And for example, Santi Comesaña is in the first season, Alejandro Catena is in the first season, Fran Garcia is in the first season, and something like that. For example, Real Madrid, Fran Garcia for Real Madrid, Camello is for Atlético de Madrid. Players that go to the in the second division when Rayo Vallecano promote to the first division, he take players to the in the second division with ambitious to demonstrate in the first one and something like that. I think that in Bournemouth with a lot of money, he has buy players to the style and to create the style in Bournemouth.
With regards to, of course, the Premier League next season, we're quite excited now, and thinking, where could we get up to? If you had to put money on it, Mario, where do you think the Iraola could take us?
Oof, I don't know. Uh, Players of Rayo Vallecano, something. Uh, I think that because I think that the Rayo Vallecano is the club that Andoni Iraola demonstrate that is a good coach. AEK passed one season in Mirandés, passed one season, but in Rayo Vallecano is the club that he say I'm a good coach and I go to the first division, and I think also that he need players in the midfield to steal the balls,
Mhm.
something a defensive players, and also a fast band. I think that this is very important to the style of Iraola.
how ruthless is Iraola going to be? Because if, say, for example, there's players that he doesn't see fit in his style, will he get rid of them, or will he work with them to actually get them to where he wants them to be?
I think in the I think that he could explain to the players that this is my style, but I can
Hmm.
adapt. For
Yeah.
example, the case of Isi Palazon. Isi Palazon is not a player that go to the style of Iraola because he's a different player. But I think that this is the player that scored more goals in the season in the past season, and it's this is my style, but I adapt depends of the player that I know, depend of the players that the club can buy for me, something like that. And this is I think that the style of Rayo Vallecano go to Bournemouth. I think that something of the style, but I think that Iraola could change aspect uh, I- because of the Premier League, because of the players that he see in the club, something like that.
Well, Mario, it's exciting times for us, and you never know what might happen. Um, with regards to Vallecano, who is going to be replacing Areola there?
Francisco Rodriguez, the past coach of Elche, Huesca, Almería. This is the next coach of Rayo. He's a different coach, but
Hmm.
when he put the Rayo Vallecano team, we support a lot, and I think that Rayo Vallecano is a small club and needs to continue in the first season, not also to Europe or something like that. It's a but is to continue, and to stay all the times in the first season.
Well, all the very, very best for next season and in the future to Rayo Vallecano. Hopefully, fingers crossed, one day we will have a friendly between the two clubs. That'd be quite nice, wouldn't it? And Iriola, can we get excited? Can we get into maybe the Europa Conference League, or pushing towards those places?
I think yes. I think that with Iraola, you can go to the conference to Europe. I think that to the Europa League, you can go then because in Rayo Vallecano with not money, they go to the conference positions, to the Europe position, something like that. And I think that Iraola have not all the players that he likes. And I think that this is one problem because Rayo Vallecano in the first time of the season go to the Champions League, go to the Europa League, but in the second time of the season go to the 10 position, 11 position. That it's good,
Hmm.
but it's not the same good that in the first time. And I think that with all the players that he like and with players that he say this player is good for my style. He can go to the conference position, to Europe position, and I hope that this is a very good option.
Excellent stuff. Well, we've got our fingers crossed. It's exciting times. He might take us to places we've never been. But Mario, it's been an absolute pleasure. And no doubt we'll probably speak to you at some point during the season as well. See how he's getting on.
Thank you very much for you. I pass a very good time, and I hope that with Iraola, the club have changed a lot and changed for good, and to go a very good step. That this is very important.
Thank you so much, Mario. It's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you. And thank you, everybody, for joining us on this show. Please remember to hit the like, the subscribe, the bell button below to be alerted to any new videos we do here at the Cherries in All Departments. Please do watch our videos from the past couple of days. Of course, we had the show where, of course, I had shock of Gary O'Neill leaving the club. Of course, Gary is a fantastic coach, fantastic manager, and I'm sure he will go on to bigger and better things as well in the future. So we wish him again all the very, very best. But also, we did do a live show as well with Lisbeth Rance and Manny. And during that show, the news broke that Iraola would be joining the club. So that is always quite an interesting one to check out as well. Do check out our interviews with Mark McAdam as well. We've done that recently, plus all the interviews throughout our time on YouTube. And also, we're now on Spotify, Apple Music, Google Podcasts, you name it. So hello to everybody who is watching or listening, I should say, from those mediums. But until the next show, up the cherries, and we'll see you then. Thank you for joining us.